Right. So today we talked about memoir writing. So in memoir writing, we tried clarifying the concepts of memoirs, autobiography, fiction, and essay writing. So the basic difference between these terminology is very subtle, although they overlap, but they are different. So there is a role of fiction in all these elements, but primarily they are different from each other. So, for example, in memoir writing, we write about our own experiences that are centered around one theme. So, this theme can vary. This theme can be tragedy. This theme can be comedy. But mainly, we talk about one part of our life that has happened in the past. Whereas in autobiography, we talk about at length the life story of ours. And there is role of retrospection both in memoir writing as well as in autobiography. But the basic difference is that memoir is a small event, whereas autobiography is full length story of your life. So in essay writing, now to differentiate between essay writing and memoir writing. So essay writing, there is less reliance on retrospection. So you do not pose critical questions. What is retrospection? Retrospection is that you become the interpreter of your work. You be critical, you pose questions, you assume situations based on your musings. For example, you say that if this thing did not happen the way it has happened, so what difference would it make? So you become the interpreter of your own story. So that is why we say the memoir writer has a challenge that he has to balance between the roles of narrator because he tells the story, interpreter because he uses retrospection and he poses questions, he becomes critical and interprets the story, and then protagonist. Why protagonist? Because the story is about himself. So it's his story, it's her story. So a memoir, a literary memoir writer is playing all these three roles, and he has to balance between all these three roles. At the same time, we also said that in memoir, we do not have to overly rely on imagination. Because if you overly rely on imagination, so you are not being truthful to your readers. You are not being honest to your readers. So readers would realize that there is greater reliance on imagination. So primarily in memoir, we try telling our own story and we just fill the gaps based on our memory. So memory has a role to play in all these writings, different types of writings. But in memoir, we try rely less on our memory. We just fill the gaps based on our imagination, but mainly it's to do with your own experiences. So that was something that we, talked about today about memoir writing. And later on, we are going to expand on basic understanding. So whatever we discussed today is just, small little basic starting point or takeaway material on um, memoir writing. Later on, we will expand on whatever we have discussed today.